In this segment, I'm going to show you some tips on how to use Making Memories De-Stressing Kit. I'm going to show you today how to use each tool in the de-stressing kit. Now you can take pretty much any project you're using and de-stress it. And remember, most importantly, there is no right or wrong way to de-stress your project either. You can de-stress as much as you want or as little as you want. I'm going to show you on this first project how to use the sanding block. Now all I want to do is distress the edges a little bit, so I'm just going to run the block around the edges of my project to give it kind of a softer look. And also in the kit is included some emery boards and some sandpaper that you can use as well. Also in the de-stressing kit comes this paint edger, and this is a really fun way to give texture to any project. I'll just show you simply. I'm going to use some of the blue paint that I have, and I'll just paint it right on to my paper. And the paint edger actually has 4 different sides to it. So we're just going to give some texture to this. I'm going to rub this rough edge right along the paint to give it a different texture. So that's a fun way to decorate your project using the paint edger. There's also some finer sides that are going to give you a little bit different of a look, a sharp pointy edge, and a square edge. And they all will give you a different feel of texture on your project. Okay, now I'm going to use my favorite tool in the de-stressing kit, which is the edge scraper. And I love this. I use it on my photographs, I use it on my paper. What it does is it has a little V in the top of the edge scraper, and inside the V is a little sharp blade. And so if you want to distress or rough up any of your projects, you just rub that along any picture, any tag, anything you might have, and it's going to give you a really roughed up, distressed edge. And I'll also show you on this photograph where I've distressed the edge. It works really well on the paper. And again, you can do as much or as little as you want. If you want it really ragged or just kind of a soft edge, I love the distressing tool. And then once your edge is scraped, I like to take the ink, because their paper's roughed up, so you'll have a good edge and the ink will really absorb right into your paper. I rub the ink around the edge of that, and also I'll show you on the tag. I like to crinkle up my paper or my tag. I just kind of wad it into a ball. That way there's not a perfect fold or anything on the tag. And you'll see the difference in the edge I've distressed. It really soaks up the ink. And then I like to rub the ink also right over the tag, and everywhere that I've crinkled it, it picks up a little bit more. And it's going to give that project kind of an aged, more of an aged look. And the kit comes with 3 different colors of ink. You have kind of a brown, a black, and a green tone. And then we also comes with 3 different shades of chalk. And the chalk you're going to kind of get the same look with. This is a brown chalk, and I like to use the stipple brush, which comes in the de-stressing kit as well. This is a piece of velvet textured paper, and I just want to age it a little bit. So I like to really rub the brush right into the chalk and just kind of dot it on. The velvet really holds the chalk well. You can also do it even over your tag. If you think the tag's a little too bright, the background of the tag, you've aged the edge and aged it, you can go ahead and add some of that chalk on, and it's going to give you a little darker color. So your tag or your photograph is not so bright, because that's not going to look very aged if you have a brand new piece of paper under it. And then it also comes with other applicators if you'd rather rub the chalk on with the foam tip applicator. You kind of can get different kind of a look with that as well. The de-stressing kit also comes with a bone folder, which is great when you're making cards. All you have to do to get a good seam in the middle of your card is use your ruler And then if you go down the edge with the bone folder, just put a little bit of pressure on. It's not going to go all the way through your paper, and yet it gives you a nice crease. So when you fold that paper, you're going to have a nice straight line. Okay, I'm also going to show you the pounce wheel that comes in your distressing kit. It's kind of a fun little tool. It's on a little roller, and I'll give you some ideas on how to use it with this project. I like to line it up as if I was doing stitching. I don't always have my sewing machine on hand. Just with the ruler, and I'll just run it right along the bottom of my project. It's on a little wheel. And it looks like I've actually stitched the page. And if you push hard enough on the pounce wheel, it'll actually make little holes all the way through your paper. So if you want to go ahead and take some thread and needle and stitch through those holes, it's a great guide to stitch and make a nice edge on your picture or around any of your pages. Okay, the distressing kit also comes with some still wool. I think the still wool works best on metal. I have a little metal sign here, and if I want to distress it a little bit, the still wool really gets into the metal and it kind of will soften it up. This actually has been painted over, but I want the rough edge off the outside of it. It takes the paint really well off of the signage. The kit also comes with a couple of packages of aging dye. All you need to do is put the powder in with a glass of water, and then if you have anything, either a tag or some ribbon that might be a bright white that you would like to age it a little bit, it's almost like a tea stain. So if you dip your ribbon or your tag into the water with the aging dye in it, and then just let it dry on a paper towel, and that'll give you kind of an aged look also. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of samples I have finished on some projects. You can see on this project really well where I've used the edge scraper around both of the tags, and I've chalked around the edges, and then I inked the very edge of the tag, and it really gives a nice look. I also used the sanding block around the photograph, and again I used a little bit of the ink to go around that as well. And then on this next project, you can see that I used the edge scraper around this photo mat, and again I scraped it a little bit harder this time because I wanted a little more roughed up look. Really gives some age and some dimension to this page.